Hello everyone, welcome back to my movie recap time. Today we are going to do a recap of the classic American fantasy comedy film Matilda. It was released in 1996 and is an adaptation of Roald Dahl's novel. Here we are thrown onto an exciting roller coaster where we go on an adventure with a sweet little girl who has magical powers. Now let the magic begin. The movie begins with a couple named Harry and Zinnia Wormwood, who have given birth to a lovely baby girl. However, unlike other parents, they are not very happy with the news. Rather, they call her a mistake while complaining about the expenses it will cost. With little care, they finally take her home with their first child, Michael, all while placing her like luggage into their truck. As the family reaches their home, they forget about the baby in the car. Here we see just how little care they will have of her in their lives. They later give her the name Matilda, and because they never really look after their daughter, they never realize just how special she is. By the age of 2, Matilda has already learned how to take care of herself like an adult. She loves it when her family leaves her alone in the house because she can do whatever she wants. She cooks for herself, dresses herself, and reads everything she can get her hands on. By the age of 4, she had read every book and magazine available in the house. One night, she gets the courage to ask her father for a new book. However, he outrightly rejects her, saying that television is better than books and helps in learning faster. Getting ignored by her family, she realizes that she is different from them, and therefore, whatever she wants, she needs to get it by herself. So, one day after everyone left, she sets off in search of books and finds a nearby children's library. She goes to the library all by herself and meets the librarian, Mrs. Phelps. Discovering the children's column, she enjoys herself as she reads her heart out. Since then, she has started visiting the library every day, reading all sorts of books. Mrs. Phelps is fascinated as she observes the small girl browsing through the books for much older minds than her, as she tells her about the library card and how she can take books home. From then on, she starts bringing the books to her house, devouring them as she allows herself to live in a world where she is not alone. After 2 years, when Matilda asks her parents to send her to school because she is old enough, they refuse, thinking of her to still be a 4-year-old. When she points out that she is actually 6.5 years old, they don't believe her and call her a liar. This upsets her as she yearns for some good and kind friends like the ones she reads about in the books. The next day, Harry returns from work with the great news that he has made a huge profit by duping people into buying illegally used cars. As he discusses the details and asks Michael to calculate the total profit, Matilda beats him to it and answers immediately. This triggers Harry off, as he states that she has cheated and should be punished because bad people need to be punished, as he locks her up in a room. However, his words linger in her mind as she realizes she has to punish the bad people too. In this case, it's her parents. So she sneaks into her parents' room the next morning and replaces Harry's hair oil with some chemicals. As a result, Harry's hair color changed drastically, surprising everyone. This amuses Matilda. We further get to know that because of his illegal dealings, Harry is now being monitored by FBI agents disguised as speedboat salesmen named Bill and Bob. Later, Harry, with a hat on, takes the kids to his workplace where he teaches them different methods of cheating people by selling them junkers as brand new cars. This upsets Matilda, who calls him a crook, only to be scolded by him as he shuts her up, saying that he is big and she is small, he is right and she is not. This troubles Matilda as she plans to teach her father a lesson. Just then, Zinnia comes by the workplace, telling everyone that she has won a lot of money after hitting a double bingo. As a result, she is taking them all out to lunch to celebrate. As Matilda passes the hat to Harry, they all rush to get in the car. but unaware of the fact that the hat is laced with super glue, he puts it on his head and they all leave. Next, we see that in the restaurant, Harry and Zinnia try to remove the hat from his head, but fail and end up making a scene. Back home, Harry finally manages to get his hat off, along with some of his hair. Being addicted to television, he asks everyone to have dinner while watching TV. On one hand, everyone complies, but Matilda, on the other hand, seems so engrossed with the book that she doesn't notice. This angers Harry as he snatches the book away from her and tears it apart, forcing Matilda to watch the stupid TV show. This enrages Matilda. As she glares at the TV, it explodes, frightening everyone, including herself, as it awakes something inside her. The next day, Harry meets a customer named Agatha Trunchbull, who is a strict school principal with a motto, "Use the rod, beat the child." Impressed by her ideology, he decides to send Matilda to her school in exchange for selling her a car. Matilda is overjoyed to learn that she will be attending school. However, the school does not appear to be everything she expected it to be. Unlike a carefree, creative place for the children, it was more like a prison under the guidance of Principal Trunchbull. There, she meets Lavender, a girl her age who warns her about the principal's cruelty. She informs her that Trunchbull was an Olympian athlete who is now using her strength to bully children, in which she soon witnesses herself when she sees Principal Trunchbull scolding a girl named Amanda for her pigtails. And when Amanda tries to reason with her, Trunchbull loses her temper and throws the girl away by her pigtails, hammer throw style. Fortunately, the girl remains unharmed because she lands in a flower-filled garden. Later, she meets her teacher, Miss Jennifer Honey, who is the polar opposite of the principal. She is as sweet as honey and appreciates everyone for who they are. During the class, Miss Honey notices Matilda's true potential, and realizing that she is a prodigy, she shares it with Trunchbull, suggesting that it would be great to shift her to a higher class. But Trunchbull misunderstands her, thinking that she could not handle Matilda, advises her to be stricter with the children. When Matilda returns home from school, she seems eager to tell her mother about the first day at school, but Zinnia acts indifferent. At night, Miss Honey visits her house to talk to her parents about her capabilities, and that she could be sent to college in the future, but they get angry at her for talking nonsense. Disappointed with her parents' attitude, Miss Honey departs, leaving a book for Matilda. The next day at school, the principal punishes a child named Bruce for sneakily eating her cake by forcing him to eat more and more cake. However, when Bruce had just almost given up, Matilda and the other children cheer for him, motivating him to finish his punishment, and he eventually manages to eat everything. But Trunchbull gets offended and orders them all to stay after school for 5 hours to copy words from the dictionary. At night, Matilda comes across the men disguised as FBI agents sitting in their car on her way back home. When she enters the house, Harry scolds her for not being home to receive his packages, and when she tells him the reason, that Principal Trunchbull had held them back, he calls her a liar. Zinnia, on the other hand, complains to Harry that having his work-related packages at home is unfair, but he explains that because he is being watched by police at his workplace, he has no choice but to bring the illegal packages home. Matilda then mentions that they are being watched by cops at home as well, but they don't believe her. The next day, while Matilda is playing with her friends and catching a newt, Principal Trunchbull appears, cursing her car as she roughly lifts Matilda and throws her in Chokey, a scary punishment chamber that she built to teach naughty kids a lesson. She does this to punish her for her father's act of making a fool out of her by selling her a faulty car. Unaware of this, Miss Honey appears to be cleaning up the classroom, replacing all of the colorful and creative items with dull and mundane ones to prepare it for Trunchbull, who is going to take her class today. However, when Miss Honey discovers that Matilda is locked up in the Chokey, she takes her out and brings her back to the class. On the other hand, Lavender puts the newt in the principal's water jug as sweet revenge for bullying the children. When Trunchbull enters the classroom and gets the water, she becomes terrified of the newt and blames Matilda. When Matilda denies knowing anything about the prank, Trunchbull starts slandering her, making Matilda angry as she flips the glass of water at her using her powers. Having no evidence that Matilda is involved, Miss Honey manages to save her from the Trunchbull's wrath, while Lavender thanks her for not giving her out, as they swore to be best friends. After everyone leaves, Matilda gathers her courage and tells Miss Honey about her telekinetic powers, confessing that it was she who flipped the glass, but when she tries to show it to her, it doesn't work. Thinking it to be Matilda's imagination, Miss Honey tries to comfort her as she invites her to her house after school. Later, on their way there, she comes across the principal's house, and as Matilda inquires about an old wooden swing attached to the garden, Miss Honey tells her that a young girl used to live happily in that house, but her mother died when she was just 2 years old due to illness. As a result, her father asked her aunt to look after her, but the aunt was very mean. Soon after, when she turned 5, her father also died mysteriously and was filed a suicide case, leaving the little girl alone with her aunt. But then the girl grew up and bought her own cottage. She decorated it with beautiful and colorful flowers. And finally, she got her freedom and managed to move out of her wicked aunt's house. When they arrive at Miss Honey's house, Matilda realizes that it was her story, and it is revealed that she's Aunt Trunchbull's niece. Miss Honey consoles her as well, telling her that while her family does not appreciate her right now, things will change soon. As they drink tea together, she further tells Matilda that when she moved out, she left her valuable treasures at the principal's house, including her mother's and father's photographs, as well as the Lissy doll given to her by her mother. This upset Matilda. On their way back, they discover that Trunchbull is leaving the house. Seeing this as an opportunity, Matilda rushes right in to retrieve Miss Honey's doll. Miss Honey initially rejects Matilda's suggestion, but eventually agrees. However, while they are sneaking around the house, Trunchbull returns and discovers that someone is in her house. Seeing her back in the house, Miss Honey and Matilda try to hide and distract the principal. They finally escape after a thrilling cat-and-mouse chase, but they didn't manage to get the doll. Disappointed, Matilda returns home, only to find the FBI agents chatting with her mother. She again tries to warn her that they are cops, but she ignores her. Later, she discovers that the power is triggered by her anger and emotions. She begins to practice more and more by infuriating herself, recalling all the horrible things her parents and principal have said to her. She eventually gains control of her power. She also tests her power on the cops who are snooping around her house and manages to obtain the evidence they got, giving her father some time to come to his senses. She then plans to return to the principal's house to get Miss Honey's doll back. There, she easily manages to get the doll from the outside with the help of her powers. And knowing how scared Trunchbull is of supernatural things, she starts scaring the principal with her powers like a ghost, convincing her that it is Miss Honey's father, Magnus's ghost, who is taking his revenge on her for mistreating his daughter. Trunchbull is terrified by all the magical things going on around her, but she soon discovers a red ribbon left behind and realizes that Matilda is behind it all. Matilda gives the doll to Miss Honey the next day. She is overjoyed, but she is also concerned about Matilda, as the principal informs her that she will be taking the class with the kids today. However, Matilda tries to calm her down as she reveals her powers. The principal soon arrives and accuses Matilda of breaking into her house. Honey tries to help her, but as Trunchbull approaches, Matilda uses her powers and writes a note on the board with chalk. In the note, she refers to herself as Magnus and threatens the principal and requesting her to return everything to Miss Honey. She then uses her powers to hit her with dusters as children begin throwing things at her, causing her to flee the school and never to be seen or heard from again. With Trunchbull gone, Honey gets everything back and also becomes principal of the school. One day, when Matilda and Miss Honey are having a nice time together in the new house, the Wormwoods abruptly interrupt them by telling Matilda that they are leaving for good, but Matilda refuses to leave with them because she wishes to live with Miss Honey instead. She also suggests adoption and provides them with the necessary paperwork, which she has already prepared. She begs them to let Miss Honey adopt her, and after realizing that her happiness lies with Miss Honey, the Wormwoods sign the paper, letting their daughter go in Miss Honey's care as they leave. In the end, Miss Honey gains Matilda's custody and they begin to live together, becoming a loving family. The end. I hope you all enjoyed this recap. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And do check out our other videos. See you in the next movie recap.